All right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah. Coming this evening with word of questioning, questions and answers. Questions and answers. And we're going to dive in. Anyone has questions? You might not just have the question, you might have the answers. So, this is what this topic is going to be about questions. Trying to get some questions answered. And I know there are those that are out here that has the answer to many of questions. But we're going to talk about some things today, and we're going to cover some things. Okay. And this is what this topic it's going to cover today. And I am grateful that I received a song, and I played the song, end up listening to other songs from the same individual, but different titles and different songs. And let me tell you, it has been truly blessing this sister. I mean, what you call really, Sister Deborah been blessed by this song, the first song, and the other songs that this individual sings. I mean, has really blessed my spirit. I'm so grateful, and I've been playing it since this morning, you guys. And I think I'm going to have to find a way of just how would I say it, download it on my phone so I can listen to it every time I'm in the car, and even when I'm lying down in the bed, and just listen to it. It's just so soothing to my spirit. Oh, it is so soothing to my spirit. I know many of us, not us, let me get that out of there. Many people, they tend to seek the Most High, they tend to ask, and they tend to knock. But many times you're knocking the wrong way, you're seeking the wrong way, and you asking the wrong way. A lot of times with the Most High Yah, He answers with examples. Okay? The Most High will answer your question or something that you ask of Him. He would answer it with a example. Many people can't experience the example because they caught up in self. They know that they're seeking questions, answers from the Most High Yah. They're doing their seeking, but the reason why they can't find or they can't embrace what He is saying is because a lot of times He's giving it to you in an example. Mhm. He would set an example right before you to answer your question. A lot of people can't get it, they don't catch it. And this is why they continue to either ask the same question or seek the same answer or seek questions and answers. But a lot of times, He's giving you the answer, but it was to be found in an example. You see, and that's going back to what I have said to you all several times. We miss, not we, people misunderstand the Most High Yah because they can't accept that He is all understanding. So what happens? They misunderstand Him because they can't embrace the fact that He is all understanding. He's that type of understanding that rose up with faith. You know how faith is the substance of things unseen but yet believed? Well, that's how understanding is. Understanding don't have to reveal itself to you. You see, it's understanding all by Himself. And what He would do, He would set an example before you. And many times people misses the example that He set before them for the same and very question that they ask Him or they seek after Him for. they bypass the example that he set before them. Like I said, faith is a substance of things unseen. So it is not something one can take on and say, I got, or I know I have faith. But 99.9 of individuals believe that faith is something they develop themselves. Why? It keeps them from giving the honor, the glory, the praise to he that owns faith. They begin to feel they own faith. I have faith. I have faith. I know I have faith. That's why the faith of the Most High Yah don't rest in people, you guys. It's because they have built up on their own faith within their flesh. And he lets you stay right there, right where you at with your faith. Well, that's how understanding is. We got two understandings. We got one in the flesh and we got understanding in the spirit. Now, when you ask the Most High Yah a question, or you seek him for advice, or you seek to ask something and want him to respond, the way that he responds is up to him. Just letting you know that you don't really rule as much as you think you rule. So the way that he responds could actually be at times giving you an example. Say, for instance, if you were driving, or if you were walking somewhere in the park, or if you was walking in the store, the mall, or if you was walking with your family at a event, no matter what. This is how ready we must be when we ask and we think that he has not answered, because we looking for more so the answer that we used to receiving, because we're really stuck in a place within our flesh, feeling that he that is all understanding has to come to the level of our flesh understanding in order for us to feel we receive something from him. But he is the spiritual understanding. And that's why many people don't know how to really embrace any type of message or answer that the Father might put in their spirit, or might even give them an example of what they're asking of him. He'll give them an example of it, because they're really looking for it in the way and in the realm of the flesh to pull up. You know, they ain't looking for it in a way that in the spirit realm, or in the sight of an example, or back in the biblical days, they were talking about parables. He was giving these people the parables. But somebody like me, when I dig into the parables, to me, the parables feel just as good as the word. Really. And that's why he told his disciple, blessed is he that cometh and understand both the parable and the word. Yes, he told, I think it was Thomas, he was letting them know there are going to be those who can understand the both. And the reason why I understand it is because I have the Holy Spirit, you see. And when he's giving them parables, I understand the parables. You see, I understand the word and I understand the parables. But most people don't understand the word. They don't understand Yah. They can't hear his voice. They don't know his voice. They don't take heed to his voice. Why? Because they're so busy hearing themselves and those that they entertain till they miss out. Okay. So what we're going to talk about, we're going to have questions and we're going to have answers. So anybody that have a question, or not only if you have a question, you might even have the answer to a question. Okay. So another thing, let me get my glasses here and clean them off, and we'll get busy here. Okay, here we go. I want to say something else that's the Father wants me to say. People really believe that Yah is waiting for us. People truly believe that the Most High Yah is waiting for us. He's not waiting for you. He's not waiting for me. He has a wheel set up that goes from A to Z. The A to Z is a parable, okay? Just showing you that's how far down his will goes. I believe he's at Z, not in Z, but he's at that level of Z. And many people are standing around and just set off thinking that, okay, this thing is fully completed. This is the beginning to the end. This is just it. But when I say A to Z, that is what you call a parable. Okay, let's letting you know the beginning to the end is fully near the end. Okay, but he said this to me today. They think that I'm waiting for them, and I believe that without a doubt, because I mean I can feel that thing. People are really believing that Yah is waiting for them, and that's why people are out here not finding the place of the light, or finding the a place where they should, how would I say, start to find and seek out peace for what is to come. You see, they're asking all the wrong questions because they still want the materialistic things. They want the things of the world, and that's what they're seeking the Father for, more so than anything, the things of the world. But when you think about people preparing for what is to come, that's showing you the mindset of people are so caught up in materialistic things and things that they have to prepare for. And this is what you see a lot online and at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, is people preparing for what they call the dark times, or the times to come, or the 3 days of darkness, or what the system is going to do, what AI is going to do, and how they're going to do this and how they're going to do that. Let me tell y'all, whatever take place, it's going to be greater than it ever have been since the world exists, the earth exists. So when you're sitting and you're plotting, okay, I'm gonna get this, I got this ready, this ready, this ready. Do you know 99 probably percent are really feeling within them that they are so ready for anything and everything to come upon them, so they could care less about what's going on in the world, to the degree of I got mine, that's on them, not knowing that the chaotic and the chaos is not just going to rest over here and not over there, or not back here, or not further up. People do not understand the chaos is going to be all around. Okay, especially here in the United States of America, because I believe this country is the first, how would I say, tear down that the Father is going to show his heavy wrath, which is his right hand and his stretched out arm. I really believe it, and I believe not only I believe it, but I believe that the elites and those that are in cahoots with Satan, they believe it. It ain't that they believe it, they know it. Okay, and just because many of people are going to and fro and thinking that they can prepare for everything else on this earth, let me tell you, prepare on, because I already know. Me just believing that he, the Most High Yah, that's what I had to prepare for, y'all. I'm just telling y'all. I mean, I have to. I have prepared for him, because the only one can see us through anything and everything, and the chaos that he already know about is him. And if we think that it's okay to be worried about, not worried, yeah, worried about everything outside of him first and foremost, guess what? When it's time for you to get everything you need to get, and then you pull off later on and say, well, now, when I got everything, let me pray now. No. It ain't going to work for you. Seek ye Yah first. I sat back and was listening to David in his Psalms. Everything David did, he went before Yah first. He seeked the Father first. Every danger he walked in, He seek the face of Yah to deliver him. And that's what I was talking about earlier, how people put all these other individuals on the pedestal and make them everything out of this book, and forsaken he that created all things. They don't put him on a pedestal, but they put everybody else up high, all the characters up high. And this, for this same reason, is when the Father comes to do what he does best. I'm not looking at, okay, if I have to I have to go with whatever take place in this United Snakes of America. You know what? I'm going down with the fight of standing still with Yah. Might have to go. So what? But I put him first, him last, him in between, him in front of me, in the back of me, on my left and my right. As long as I do that, I can go out anyway. I can go out at any time and I'm going to be okay. Because not only do I put him there, I have taught people how to put him first, seek him, exalt him, magnify him, trust him, lean to him. He's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. I'm going to go out fighting just like that. Because greater is he that rests in me than anything on the outside of this world. So I have to trust in the one that's in me. And you think I won't? When it says he that's greater in me is greater than anything on the outside of me, why would I trust in everything that I'm hiding away and putting away to be my keeper when he's the greater than anything that can keep me on the outside? You see? So many people ask, Father, I pray and I seek you for this answer to find this question. I wondered about this. I seek you. But what they didn't understand, and they don't understand, sometimes in your seeking the Most High Yah, he will respond to you with an example. He'll put an example right before you. And guess what? I'm going to be honest. Even though that's him putting that example in front of you, many people miss it. Many people miss it. It's an old saying. I know you all have heard it. This elderly lady that was a widow, she had been praying and praying that the Father would visit her. She had lost her husband years prior, and she always been a praying individual, but she just wanted to want some response from the Most High Yah. And when the old man that was hungry knocked at her door and asked if he can get something to eat, you see, she said, no, I don't have anything, and slammed the door. So she prayed. I don't know if it was months or whatever, but I think this is just, like I said, a parable. And the Father responded, and she was glad that she heard her respond. But he told her, she asked him, when I've been praying for a long time, waiting for you. He said, I did come. I came as the one that knocked on the door, asking for something to eat. And this is what I tell people. Be very, very cautious, because you don't know when it's Yah knocking. He will he quick to put an example right before you. And most people miss it because they come in a way that they think he's supposed to respond to them in the fleshly way, in the realm of the world. No. Most of the time, if you sincere and you seeking him, like he said first, and you seeking him and you asking him something, know that the response it's not going to come the way you want it answered or the way you want him to respond. There are times that the Father will come and answer you quicker, even with an example. He will put before you, and you will miss it, thinking he never responded. Many people, many. So he want me to say to you all that he is not waiting for us. I don't know why people are thinking that. And I believe it. If he said it to me, I believe it without a doubt. People thinking that they're on their time and not realizing, no, baby, you're on his time. And we out of the time now, babe. We in that day. Okay. Um, Something else. The Father said, we that are spiritual, and I already started, y'all. I don't know about you all. I already put it to act. Hey. And guess what, y'all? It feels really good. It really feels good. And this is what it is. He say, set spiritual boundaries. Set spiritual boundaries. Because that's where we are at in this day. You have to set spiritual boundaries and not allow no one to cross your spiritual boundaries. Okay? Because you can easily find yourself on the other side. And he says it's time to set spiritual boundaries. Okay? And that's he's speaking only for those that are the spiritual seed that's holding spirit and truth and the light. Okay? And another one he gave me here. It's deeper than what we can see, nor or even understand. So when he said that, I don't think I want to go any deeper than he and already let me go. Okay. Because some people wants to know what's going on down at Z. And he's saying that it's deeper. It's deeper than what one could see. And he's speaking of seeing even in the spirit realm. And one can understand in the spirit realm. I tell him, okay, you can keep deep, Father. I don't have to see it in deep. I don't have to understand it in the deep. If it's that deep, deep in you, Father, y'all. Deep in you. I'm serious, because if you get any deeper than what he's shown me and teach me and revealed to me, I don't know if I can stand. I knew it ain't me standing no way, but look, Father, okay, that deep, you can keep it, Father, y'all. Okay. So he was saying it's deeper than what one could see and what one can understand. So the first thing one would say, when, okay, seeing, could it be talking about natural? Could it be saying understanding? Natural understanding? No, it's deeper than spirit, in the spirit realm. You see? So I'm like, okay, it's deep, Father. You can keep the deep, Father. You can keep it. I don't need to. I don't need to step in that rim, Father. Yeah. Oh, Father, I don't need to see it if it's that deep. I don't need to understand it, Father. If it's that deep, you keep it for me, okay? Okay. So that was another one. What would one say? What would you say the Most High's expectation, oh, expectation, expectation. I ain't saying it right. What do y'all expect? I say it like that. Expectation. What would you think y'all would expect out of us in this living today? What would one say that the Most High would expect out of us living today? What do you think he expect? His expectation, there it is, for us that are living today. What would you think Yah's expectation for us that are living today? That are living. What would one say would be Yah's expectation for us that are living today? And I would answer it myself. Someone says, I think one is repentance, putting him first and praying for one another. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's real good. That's real good. He said something and I thought was really, really so sweet. At least I thought it was. He just said something. Once that came to my spirit, I wrote it down real quick. And then right after it, there was something that he said to me. He said, Deborah, my grace and my mercy. My grace and my mercy. Because if we know what really the grace and the mercy of Yah, we would know really what's holding us up. Walk in the spirit with faith. Amen. I know that's right. Walk in the spirit with faith. That's a good one. That's a good one. So what do you think he means when he's saying grace and mercy? To be obedient to the Father. So when he said to me, after that expectation of us, and then he said grace and mercy, why would you think he would say grace and mercy? That's the only thing. That's what I was thinking. I was so, Father, you said that's what's holding us up. That's exactly what I said. Because I wonder in my little mind, I was saying, but you saying grace and mercy. And the only thing I can think of, when that's what's holding us up. You see what I'm saying? Because I was like, when he said, what would you think my expectation for the living today? And then I wrote that down, but before I can even finish, the next thing came to me. It just spoke to me real quiet, and it said grace and mercy. And I'm like, yeah, that's not that it just letting us know he's holding us up. His expectation for us living is to recognize that he's going to hold us up. I think that is so beautiful, because I would have never thought that. I'm telling you, I would have came up with, like what you all said, repent, spirit, walk in spirit and faith, or obedient. I know repent was definitely in there, and praying, all those things that you think of, what you would think his expectation. But if you really put it together, that's the only way we just think now. Grace and mercy wasn't just given to the spiritual seed. It was given to all. And if he's saying that he ain't expecting nothing but his grace and mercy to hold us up, I think that's beautiful. That's sending a sign to me of how he cares for us enough to hold us up in what he has to hold us up with, grace and mercy. With all that is going on, there is no way we could stand. No, you're right. Good point. There it is. And you know what? That's a really good point. With all that is going on, there is no way we would stand. We would still be here without his grace and mercy. That's it. Because that's so that's all he's talking about then. Because I was like saying, when he said grace and mercy, I said, wait a minute, not grace and mercy. That just shows you who he is. It's that grace and mercy is got us upheld, y'all. In spite of, like you said, all of this stuff that's going on. So this is why he said, the expectation, of those that are living is grace and mercy. Because we thinking we the one holding things together. We thinking we the one holding up things, and we the one got order, and we the one got this here. But no, he's letting us know. No, it's his grace and his mercy. Praise Yah. That was really, really something that was deep for me, because I wouldn't have never thought grace and mercy. I'm telling y'all, I wouldn't have. When one asks Yah, it's first start with an example. Okay, we did those. Okay. You know what else I want you to go to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 11. Tell me, can you see something in here? Revelation chapter 11 and verse 11. If you have any questions or answers to a question, we would like to hear from you. Revelation chapter 11, verse 11. And I just want to show you all something here. 11, verse 11. And it reads, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life, you see that? The spirit of life from Yah enter into him. Okay. And they stood upon their feet, and the great fear fell upon them which saw them. Now, this is how I was explaining to you all how it's very important to really, when you really can grip and understand something, try to understand it the way the spirit in you have, how would I say it, instilled within you. When I look at life, even though I would read and I would use the word, but honestly, if you ever thought to turn that word backwards, you will see the true meaning of it. And then you sit back and you wonder who would put that in this book. So that's why I thought it was so important that we take right and make it the breath. Because if you really look at it, listen to this, the spirit of life from Yah enter into him. You see, it's really the breath. Okay, it's not so much as the word life. And this is why things are so screwed up. But I don't even know if y'all would want me to even say it's only screwed up in those who are lost, I would think, somebody who really don't, how would I say it, don't really have it, And when you take that, listen to this. It said in verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life. Instead, it said the spirit of the breath of Yah enter into him, and they stood upon their feet, and the great fear fell upon them which saw them. Okay? Someone says, it's the breath that enter into them. Exactly. Now let's go here. Let's do a little search. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 37. Anyone have any questions or answers? We're here today to just have that type of fun. Okay. Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 5. Now just listen to this. And it's going to go back to make you really start thinking about this word L-I-F-E. Now, you turn it backwards and you look it up in Hebrew, it means evil. So I'm just saying how it is something that's going on to where when we are reading out of the study guide, we're actually saying things that worship darkness in a lot of cases, y'all. I know people don't believe that, but that's realer than real. Many people won't do their search to find out what these words, simple words, y'all, just simple words, what it really means. They rather continue living with what it means to them and what it was taught to them to me. But let's go to Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 5 and 6. Now listen to this. Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 5 and 6. Thus said Yah unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath. You see that? He didn't say life. I will call. But you notice in the beginning it says, thy said. You see? Thy said Yah. Okay? Unto these bones. So now the Creator is speaking. And he telling it like he know it. Truth. And it says, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. Watch this, verse 6. And I would lay, I never could send use upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yah. Notice he used breath twice and never said life. He never said the word life. He said breath. Stick with Ezekiel 37 and go to verse 9 and 10. In 9 and 10 it says, then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus said. See how he's saying it? Now he's telling you what he said. You see? He said, then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus said Yah. You see that? Thus said Yah, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So why is it it's so important to be careful when we using the word life? Because like I said, as you look life up, if you put it backwards, it would L-I-F-E, and if you would put it E-F-I-L and look it up in Hebrew, it's detached to evil. You see? So a lot of times we are talking and not caring about certain words. So I remember when I first got onto YouTube 8 years ago, it was a big thing about looking things up in Hebrew. I didn't do that, y'all. I really did. I think I started after I was on here for about 3-4 years, and then that's when I started. I didn't look up stuff in Hebrew, but once I started looking words up in Hebrew strong, then I began to see why certain words that they have didn't fit what was being said. And on both Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 5 and 6, and verse 9 and 10, you notice it said, and Yah said. So when it's saying Yah said, Yah ain't saying life. I don't think y'all really getting it. Yah is not saying life. All you have to do is go back to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 11. Let's do that. Let's see if he's saying it here. He might be, but let's see. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yah enter into them. You see? So you don't hear the authority of the Father speaking. And when he speak it, he called it what? Breath. You get what I'm saying? So when you go back to Ezekiel chapter 37 and you go to verse 14, when you hit Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse 14, it says, and shall put my spirit in you. Watch this here. And ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, Yah, have spoken it and performed it, said Yah. There go it again, saying Yah. So you see how he at that time he called it his spirit. That's his breath. And this is why I say when they say soul, y'all, that has no detachment to the flesh nor the spirit. That was a word that the Roman Catholic added into the word. You see what I'm saying? So when the Roman Catholic add that in, them with the Jesuits who who really wrote this Bible, along with all the lost books and the books you found, they are the writers. Okay, they're the one established this book. And see, when they did that, you have to by the Spirit be able to really take heed to when the Spirit is saying something to you, to get you to see what can be off. Now in Revelation, now pulling up in Revelation 11:11. Who is that saying that? When Yah didn't say, he never called it the breath. Let's go to Jeremiah. He never called it life. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17. Now we just read it regarding the dry bones. And Sister Deborah, I think I'm going to stick with the fact that the dry bones being seen in the vision, okay, is showing us there are dry bones that have been dry for a long time. Only thing I can think of would be David's army. David lost a lot of men fighting many battles. You see? And those bones are dry. It's saying a lot of things about those bones. But if you really just pay attention to what he's saying, you'll see that he's going to bring them back. He's going to breathe back into them, and he's going to bring them over to Mount Zion. You see? And a lot of people don't understand that. They thinking he's going to collect those that are here and just take them over. No, he's going to take the small remnant from here, from the four corners. But he's going to build an army from the dry bones. You see? So let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17. In the book of Jeremiah chapter 17, and verse 9. Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9. Nope, is that right? Nope, that's not right. Wait a minute, let me get it. Jeremiah, I got 17. And nope, that's not it. I'm speaking of the breath. I'm looking for the breath. And I can't believe I must have wrote it down. Let me see if it's 19. That Jeremiah chapter 19. Let me see if that's it. Nope. So, yep, I wrote down. Wow. I sure did. I did it. So, nope, that's not. I wrote it down, but I don't know. Jeremiah, I'm there, 17. When I was trying to find that other verse in Jeremiah, I thought I wrote it down. I wrote it down wrong. And it speaks of the breath, Yah's breath. And I must have wrote it wrong. Wrote the wrong verse down. But it too also spoke of the breath. And it called it breath instead of, look at my shirt, instead of life, you see. So I was just, let me go to 1 John. Let me see how that works. 1 John chapter 3. Let me see if it's saying it here. That was my error there, because 1 John chapter 3 and verse 20. Let's see. Nope. I really messed up. I don't know why. 1 John. Okay, I got my 1 John chapter 3 and verse 20. Where is this? For if our hearts condemn us, God is greater than our heart and knoweth all things. That's a good verse, but that's not. Well, maybe that's what it was one of my. Okay, let's just use it. I think I will use Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9. But since we in John, First John in chapter 3, let's see if we can answer something in here. In First John chapter 3 and verse 20, if our heart condemn us, Yah is greater than our heart and knoweth all things. For if our heart condemns us, just think about that. If your heart condemns you, okay, yeah, we'll go back to the Jeremiah, and I put that 10 and 14. Okay, thank you. If our hearts condemned us, what would make our heart condemn us? What would make our heart condemn us? Our own heart. What would make us our heart condemn us? Anybody know? If we sin, okay. Okay. Let's get that one. Okay. Oh, yes, it's definite. And you can see it. I mean, it ain't clearly seen, but if you have that spiritual eye and you have that spiritual ear, when the Holy Spirit is teaching you, he will definitely pinpoint things to you. I do know that. David's army. Okay. So, and then you say, yes, someone got also Jeremiah 51 and 17. Well, maybe we're gonna go there. But let's see if we can answer this in First John chapter 3 and verse 20. For if our heart condemns us, can our heart really condemn us? Can our heart condemn us? Yes, it can. It can condemn us. It can condemn us. Our heart can condemn us. Can it condemn those that are born of the flesh? Would their heart condemn them? Think about that. Can their heart condemn them? Only thing that allow us, no, you're right. Only way we are allowed to be condemned, us, is because of what's in us. Is he that is greater than he that is in the world. You see? This is how we're able to be condemned. See, a lot of us think that we can be condemned without having the Holy Spirit. When we are condemned, there's two, everything is broke down in twos. You can feel convicted or condemned in the flesh. But the type of condemn that we really yearn for and desire is the one of our spirit being condemned because of the Spirit of the Most High in us, brings us to conviction. Because if we say that we are condemned, we we feel condemned, then we don't need him to be greater in us if we can condemn ourselves. You get what I'm saying? And I don't think we are, as flesh, is able to bring ourselves to be condemned because we love sin, iniquity, darkness, evil. And a lot of people don't believe that's the characteristics of the flesh, being born of the flesh. And a lot of people feel that we don't need the Spirit of the Most High God. And that's why so many people are entering in through the broad gate. And that's why the narrow gate that leads to the correct way is so narrow, because people really don't understand the difference from being condemned in the flesh versus being condemned by the spirit. It's a difference, because the Ruach will bring chastisement to you to cause you to feel condemned in a way that you can't feel just condemned in the flesh without the Holy Spirit in you. It's a big difference. And this is why Christ came, to redeem us back to that way of Yah. That's why he said, I'm going to hold you blameless. He ain't holding you blameless without him being in you. He's holding you blameless because greater is he that is in you. So you can't be blamed no more. You see? That's why he's holding you blameless. But when we don't have him living in us, we're going to be judged. And we're going to be blamed for the things in which we continue in wicked and evil and sin and darkness. So when you look at verse 20, for if our heart condemn us, it condemn us because he's greater in us. You see, that brings us to that conviction that we feel condemned. But if he wasn't in us, we would be like any and everyone else. Nothing moves us. See, this is what's going on in the world today. That's why no one is moved by all this stuff that's going on and taking place in the world. Their hearts is not condemned, or they're not how would I say it? They're not convicted. They don't care about what's going on. I don't care about what's going on, long as it ain't me and mine. But when you have the Holy Spirit, you see things different. You feel things different. You act a different way about things. This is just trying to show you how we miss out of his glory, and his honor. We do. We miss out of everything because we thinking that, hey, we got this power to tame our flesh, and we don't. And the moment we come to own that, then we would even feel the presence of him being our conviction for our sin and wicked that we continue to do. But if we think that we can condemn our heart condemn us, you can hang it up. This is why the world in the condition it's in. You think people can turn around. A lot of you all didn't know what happened to them bodies come COVID. A lot of you all didn't know is they knocked off a good 15 million here in this country, and it's still moving. They falling dead. But I'm just saying, during that time, they used to take them bodies from the hospital and put it in the freezer. They had those 53-footer trucks. All of that stuff was ground and put in certain things that people eat. No one ever questioned, wait a minute, now, you can't just take my loved ones. You can't just, they didn't let you take nothing. You see the power. To me, back then when that was happening, I sat back and watched a power that I have never seen in all my living. Control people. I mean, actually had people glued to what they wanted them to be glued to. TV, internet. They had people housed, prison in your own home. And see, no one ever in this country ever gave that a thought. The type of power that poured up in 2021, 22, 23, 20, it started, I don't know if it started in 20, but it poured up and it put everybody into prison in their own homes. They were fully in full control. So if you're thinking for 1 minute what they're got planned, the next level, it's going to be way beyond that. You know why? Because there's too many of you all still ain't felt the first one. Because when you feel it, the first thing you do, you turn to the Father, the Creator, who sees it all from high and low, from every end. And he gives you the insight of what's all happening. And then you sit here and you long suffer because everybody is in dumb city, can't realize you've been in prison. They put your tail in prison. They took everything you own from you and force you to be on internet and TV. If that don't show you the power of how these elites can take you out of here, and I mean, and you don't have a word. You couldn't visit your loved ones because they had to keep them on the machine to where they can shut their organs down, and they didn't want you to see that. They didn't want you to talk to the loved ones. And if the loved ones could come up and pull up now, they would tell y'all what they were doing. And that's why they didn't want you to visit them, because they were shutting them organs down. Right now, they don't care if you know that. They don't care what you know. It's everything is out in the open. And I thank the Father for that, because it's actually he's showing you no matter how and what they do, the people gonna still be blind to it and ain't gonna see what's really happening until what he come up and pull up and do what he gonna do. Then everybody gonna be acting a fool, trying to figure out, well, what's going on? You didn't figure that out in 2020, 21, 22, 23. You didn't say that then. The people in this country do not know the level of millions that has died and constantly dying. Stephen Dorby. I don't think nobody could have said it as well as he did. And I think that's why. And I am grateful that the Father pulled them out, because he capped it off. He capped it off. It's just like, you know how Yeshua came? He said, I come to fulfill. When this young man, he came and he capped everything off. I mean, ain't nothing he said that wasn't true. I can come behind him and say, yes, you did. You told him. But did it affect the people? No. The people didn't care. He had less subscribers and likes. Did y'all know that? Yes, he did. When he should have had millions. But he had less. This just showing you how narrow the gate really is and how narrow people's minds are. Those that are born of the flesh versus those that are born of the spirit. And how when he said in that small remnant, he means that. He means that. Another thing, you all talk about, and a lot of people talk about, is Mount Zion. No one really understands what Yah is preparing is what he already had. Yah already had a mountain that is holy. Ain't nobody on that mountain. It is holy. He has his there already. That's why he ain't worried about, like we down here said over in Jerusalem and over in Israel. Yeah, I ain't worried about that. Because he knew he always had a holy ground. And it's up high. Because as you read in Revelation, you hear about them going up to the mountain of Yah, the city of Yah. See, they don't call it that today. The city of Yah, of Jacob. Jacob's Yah. I like that. So we today, we really think it's going over to that land. No, he told me through so many verses, it is a mountain that I have that is holy. It's not a land. It's a mountain that is holy, Deborah. It ain't holy when it become holy. It has already been holy, and don't nobody step on this ground. He would never have allowed all of this sin and wicked to taint this holy ground. But they don't think like that. They just think that Anybody in this world can live on this land and be here. No, you can't. It's a mountain, and it's holy. And it didn't become holy today. It was holy always. And that's just something they never taught. You see? They never taught it. So another thing we were talking about, and I think we was going back to, was it Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 14. Let's see if that's still taking us back to the breath. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 14. But yes, I'm going to show you exactly that, you all, and you're going to get a different frame of mind about the holy place that he's taking the remnant to. So you can get a grip of, wait a minute, this place is holy already. Yes. I know ain't nobody told y'all that. It's holy already. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 14. And it reads, someone have, every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in him. Okay. Now here is talking about every man is brutish in his knowledge. What does that mean? Let's go back. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 14. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 14. Let's break this down. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 14. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. What does that mean? What does that mean? Anyone? Verse 14. Every man. Woo, I like that. I like that, Father. Yeah, I like how he rumbled that. It's brutish in his knowledge. Want me to tell you what he's talking about? Anybody? Sister Deborah explained to you all, when you learn about the tools, then you can make some very powerful moves in your teaching. Okay? The flesh mind. Okay? But when he's saying it, he's saying the flesh mind, or is he saying the knowledge, that there's two knowledges? And he's giving you the example of the flesh knowledge. So you're saying the same thing, the flesh mind, right? He's meaning all flesh, right? All flesh is brutish in his mind, in his knowledge, because there's two knowledge. There's spiritual knowledge and there's fleshly knowledge. And he just telling you how the fleshly knowledge is already messed up from the floor. And this is what Sister Deborah tried to tell y'all. There are many, and I'm going to go into this 99% believes that knowledge from the realm of the flesh is greater than the knowledge from the realm of the spirit, and it is not. Nothing comes and overrides the knowledge of the spirit. Why? Because it was spirit first before it was flesh. Okay, so flesh cannot override the knowledge of the spirit. That's why he's saying, all you're getting, get understanding. And that understanding is a different understanding than the flesh understanding. That understanding is the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay, and many people think that everything is based on ones. No, it's two. Just as there are two books written in the kingdom, there were two trees in the kingdom. There were two examples of the serpent seed versus the woman seed, which you pulled up with Cain being the seed that came from Adam and Eve, but Abel came from the spiritual realm. Adam didn't know or knew Eve to bring forth Abel. A lot of people would add that in, but that's how they miss out on spiritual knowledge, because it didn't tell them that. So everything that heavens created, he created everything by tools, letting us know when you come down here, break everything down in tools, and you're best. That's your best way of teaching people, is to break them down in tools, because it's unfair to get an unlearned person and think you can teach them something when they don't understand no way but one way. They look at understanding as understanding. That's the understanding of the flesh. They look at knowledge as a knowledge of the flesh, in the flesh. And that's not knowledge in the spirit. They look at wisdom in the flesh, but that's not wisdom in the spirit. They look at everything that Yah set up. He set it in tools. And 99.9 believe it only in the realm of the flesh, without even having no idea of the realm of the spirit. Now, which one was first? The realm of the spirit. So here he's saying every man is brutish in his knowledge. That means in your flesh. You see? Now he's speaking of the knowledge in your spirit, because there's another knowledge in your spirit that's greater than the knowledge that's in your flesh. But everybody don't have that. You see? So here it is. Ever founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. Okay? Now, this breath here is what breath? What breath is this that it speaketh of? And there's no breath in them. By the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there's no breath in him. Knowing things of the flesh only. Yes, most people, that's it. 99.9. You see, that's all they know is the flesh. And they don't relax and realize, baby, there's two routes. All you have to do is understand that everything that is was before it is. Everything is was. And what has happened, people haven't received the knowledge of what was. They only receive the knowledge of what is. That's why they can get all the lost books and all the found books, all the King James 16, and now the world in the last 25 years have came up with the new King James, new edition, new version, new author. Bibles. These are Bibles. It's ever learning, but never ever learning, but never coming to the knowledge of what? Truth. Because truth is spiritual. It is not flesh. Okay? They can't seem to divide the two. So here, this knowledge is flesh, and it's showing you that your knowledge in your flesh don't mean a rat's behind. That's what it's saying. Okay, so here where it says, and every founder is confounded by the graven image. Okay, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. The image, there's no breath in these image. You see, none whatsoever. We know they are not trying to tell us breath in the human, because we all receive his breath, or else we wouldn't be here. So it's the images that people are worshiping all over the world. And y'all wouldn't even believe the majority of people in all these religions worship an image that don't even have a breath, but they don't care. That's how weak their knowledge is in their flesh. And then they on these platforms teaching the mass, the multitude. And it's okay. Why? Because the broad gate is broad. And he even enlarging hell so everybody can have a place. You see? So here it's another verse someone had, 51 and verse 17. They will be perished. They will be perished. They will perish. Believing these graven image and they thinking that, these, how can you worship something that don't have breath, y'all? Can somebody answer that? How could you say you worship? How is that thing that don't have breath going to be able to deliver you? If you were in trouble, what is it going to do? If you were hungry, how is that image going to feed you? If you was thirsty, what drink will it give you? Huh? You see? So do it ever dawned on you all how sick people would have to be spiritual to think that graven image has the power that they may worship it and serve it as their gods? And they do. And you know what, y'all? 99.9. This is what they do. You think the kingdom have a problem with it? No. Kingdom don't have no problem with that. Not at all. See, y'all ain't trying to check yourself. For what? He rules it all. All of it, no matter which way you see it, is already written. I like that. And I do feel kind of bad that they didn't understand Yeshua when he was tempted by Satan. But Satan knew it. Satan was trying to see what Christ with you. You got Christ, you got Hamashiach with you. Pull up some power. Do some miracle signs and wonder. You see, all he had to offer was, it's written. And that's what Sister Deborah have to offer each and every last one of y'all. Everything is already written. We just walking this stuff out. But guess what? It's all going according to the will of the he that sits on the throne, the Father himself. It's going still according. Do you know that if things weren't going according to his will, don't you know he would have came down by now? Don't you know he would have done something by now? Come on now, y'all. Make his stuff make sense. Everything is going according to his will, and he's all right about it. He don't have no problem about it. He don't have none whatsoever. It's we. Because we haven't given him the honor, the glory, and the praise that's due him if we say we know him. We'd rather give it to ourselves. We'd rather boast and boost ourselves, our ego, our self-centered. We'd rather give all the glory to ourselves than to give it to the one that got a will set up from the floor up. Okay? Someone says they did it with the golden calf. Sure did. Yes, but did you see how they did that? Now, let me ask y'all the question. Why did they give them gold when they left? Why? Did not they give them, did not the Father know that they would do that? Come on now. See if y'all can answer that one. Let me go close these blinds. Woo! Have it ever done on you all? Why would he allow them to come out with substance like that? Knowing what they gonna do with it. Yes, he knew. But why would you think he would do that? You remember the parable of the tare and how the wheat was placed on the earth, and in its sense, that's what he was saying, and how overnight the tare grew in the wheat. He said, leave them alone. Let them grow together. Why? Because this is how the kingdom will things. You see? He already knew the outcome, that they wasn't coming out, that they wasn't going to take heed to nothing he said. He didn't have no problem with it. Why? Do anybody know why the Father didn't have no problem? Y'all really don't know. I know you don't know. He didn't have no problem with them taking all this gold. They gave him, you see how much gold they gave them. That was a lot to build that calf. That was a whole lot now. But why would y'all want them to take stuff when he know what they're gonna do with it? Why? Because y'all fail to realize who he is. Yeshua told you all when Satan was tempting him, he kept telling Satan, it is written. It is written. The third time Satan said, it is written. Because he knows too. It's already jotted down, y'all, that they wasn't coming out of the promised land. That they was not going to take heed or see what he was doing. But guess what? I'm a grateful servant of the Most High Yah. I'm grateful that I see it. I see it. I see you, Father. I see you, Father. I hear you, Father. I've gotten to know you because you know me. You knew me first. And you let me know you. He don't have to do that, child. He let them take that to the wilderness, knowing they was going to do that. This is the same mindset today. But what? What's the difference from the mindset then to the mindset today? Anybody know? It's worse today than any other time. He said even it has been said that they are worse even than their forefathers. So it's kind of showing you, why would I want you all to leave out with substance? And y'all was in with substance and was killing each other and doing all the things that you never changed. You see? So it goes back to people really seeing Yah's standpoint, the spiritual realm. And it takes you to a level where you end up understanding that this is the will you set up. Just like Yeshua. Take away this bitter cup. Oh no, bro. You see? Not my will. See, he calling that will out. You see? Even Yeshua knew that the Father had a will. Not my will, but the will. Who is he talking to? See? The Father has a will. And even Yeshua himself couldn't buckle up on it or bring it down. That's why I say, y'all, I like how he rumbled. I might not have things and everything or things that I want, or I did, even things that I don't I desire. I might not have these things, but guess what? I got something greater. And that is the Father, someone I can believe in, I can trust in, I can lean to, I can talk to, one that will comfort me, one that will teach me and show me things. I'd rather have him than silver and gold. And I always tell y'all I'm grateful, because it could have been me out there like they were, thinking that this is, we're going to build a calf. I think they're doing some stuff like that now. But I think they build one, but they worship it as an idol, right? I think in some country, I think they do. But I asked that question when I was a teenager. Why did you allow them to leave out with that? And you knew that it was going. Because see, I always thought, this is how I thought. I thought that the Most High always knew everything. And I knew that he did. See, this is how you learn that before the foundation of the world, something actually took place. And that was that will. Today, you'll never get nobody to preach and teach it, because they want to tell you, oh, I got dreams, I got vision. But wait a minute, pull up and pull out. Let's talk about that will, okay? and not so much as your visions and your dreams. He got a will that's wrote out, and we are walking in it. That's why he has poured out us grace and mercy, so his will can go from the beginning to the end, and we're just being upheld by grace and mercy. Yes, that's just it. But we need to also, what it said, it's make them serpent seeds, okay? Spiritual seed and serpent seed, okay? But the thing about it is, you are just speaking again on the seeds. Do you all understand 99, let's say 90, oh, come on, Deborah. 90%, I'm going to give it take, 95% don't know nothing about the twos or the two seeds. But that's something that one that is called and appointed and anointed can use to be a teaching tool. Because when I was over there talking to my mother, she was saying, but I've been in church all this time and I ain't never heard that. You see? So when we were speaking of knowledge here in Jeremiah, we really don't, to really dig into that, even knowing that's a knowledge being shown to you, that's that flesh knowledge. How can we teach people? And what you say, yes, in India, they worship the cow. I knew it. It was one. I didn't know what country it does, but one of them I knew that they worship cows. And they have always been. They have always worshiped the calf. Why? I don't understand why. But like he just said in Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 14, it says images, graven image, falsehood. There is no breath in them. So how could you worship something that don't have no breath? If you needed to be saved and you're drowning, how that calf gonna save you? If you're hungry, how is that calf gonna feed you? So just imagine many people seeing the things of the world to be a god to them. People are like that with their finances, wealth, mammon. Same thing. It's the same identical thing. But I had an issue with it being next to Yah. How could somebody compare that? But the Father schooled me so well. I said, Father, I didn't know it was that bad. Oh, yes, it always been. I'm like, well, putting it next to you? It always been. On this earth, the Father have always saw that mammon was the only thing that buckles up against him, that keep people from even seeking him. That's deep. Now, one thing about it, you can't blame Satan, because Satan don't do nothing with mammon. That's why I didn't put Satan there, because Satan ain't buckling up against Yah. He was given the position to deceive the whole world. Now, if he sent him down here to deceive the whole world instead of sending him straight to a lake of fire, and he gave him the opportunity to come down here to deceive the whole world, wouldn't you want to come down to deceive the whole world instead of going straight to the lake of fire? When that's what happened, y'all. So Satan ain't hooked up till y'all got that bent. Like I told you, men was his link. That's how man taught Satan how we can get them all under your control. We with you on this. Let us handle this part. Satan ain't never been up on no mammon or no wealth. Satan ain't never been hooked to that, because he can't spend it. He can't use it. He can't go to McDonald's and say, give me a Happy Meal. I don't know why people don't think of that. So something and somebody had to work on his behalf to get the world to be deceived. Men, they shown him the ways of how he can gain power to deceive the people by taking what people use and feel so precious with, to the point where people use it as they God. And honestly, live or die, they gonna hold firm to what they have, being a God. And it's a sad thing, but it's a glad thing, because it ain't nothing down here on this earth that the Father did not know of. If he can sit back and have them give all this gold and silver, to this gold really, to Israel coming out of captivity, knowing what they going to do with it. But he knew they wasn't going nowhere. See, another thing y'all don't know. He knew they wasn't going nowhere, even though he was parting the sea. He knew they wasn't going. See, y'all, that's why I say where people messed up with me is this. When you mess with him, you mess with me. Because what you do is you sitting here and you thinking Moses did something. Moses didn't part that sea. Moses didn't cause dry land so they can walk through. Cloud by day, fire by night. Come on now. That's that right hand and that stretched out arm that brought them through. But he don't get the credit for it. And this is why today they don't have no respect for his power. They don't even care about no right hand, no stretched out arm. Do you know 99.9 don't know nothing about the right hand and the stretched out hand, the right hand and the stretched out arm of the Creator? They want to say they know his power, but they don't know where it's coming from. They don't know nothing about it. You see? So all these things that he allowed to happen, he allowing this stuff to happen. But he don't care if it has to stand and make him less than him. He already know who he is. He can't be less than anybody if he created all things, y'all. Don't be so dumb and stupid. He can't even be looked at or thought of as being less. He already sealed with that. He knows that. He know all he have to do is that quick and everything be gone. So you see, he ain't been all over the place. He's still allowing grace and mercy to be poured out just so that will can close out. And that's it. Why we thinking we got power. We got authority. Well, what all the materialistic things we got on this earth, we use it as a God. Look at all these people that are millionaires and billionaires. They already didn't turn to the crazy of the crazy. They eating flesh, drinking blood, and doing all kind of pedophiles, all kind of things against Yah. Because they found the way that they can serve Mammon. And at the same token, they on Satan's side. And he can do the spiritual things to give them the strength that they think they got and the power that they think they have. So he allowed them to tamper with the finances. But Yah is not saying Satan. See, and I don't know why nobody never thought of that. And they ain't going to think of it. Y'all ain't never said Satan, putting Satan as an enemy next to him or as something like a God. But he used Mammon because that's what people use it for, as they God. They won't teach it to the people. They won't preach it. They won't minister it. They won't lay that thing out like they should have. That's what you call strict darkness that nobody talks about. Because I battled with that for too long. In my little old peanut mind, I'm like saying, hey, y'all, can't nothing be greater than my y'all. And then you gonna put wealth and make that greater than him? No, it ain't. But y'all is saying, Deborah, in the minds of human, that is their God. And in my little peanut mind, but how, Father? You own all things, Father. Trying to make it make sense. And guess what? You can't. Because that's how evil it is. But you can't go back blaming Satan. Because all you have to do is say, okay, let's make it, you can't serve two gods. God or either Satan. Satan or either Yah. They say it like that. He didn't do that. He let you know the only thing that stands and think it even with me, Deborah, is wealth. It's wealth. Oh, I know. That's why they couldn't preach it. That's why they couldn't preach it in the church, because I had never heard of it. And it bothers me to know that the mindset of people, and this is why they don't care about killing, drinking blood, and because they're thinking that they're gaining all this power, and they themselves are gaining power. They're gaining all of these spirits that's going to go on their side due to this wealth. This is why everybody in the music industry sign on the dotted line, sell their spirit in the name of money, just a temporary habit to wake up the next day and don't have nothing but death. But they're willing to go that route. That's the only way that they see that fits them. But in my little peanut mind, I said, but Father, why are you letting them put that up against you? I still would say it. How could that be? Because it's going back to what I was saying. It ain't Satan. That's why he say, your worst enemy is self. Nobody never teach that, y'all. Nobody ever teach that, because they don't want you to know. You have to think. I mean, you have to really search self. You got to search that self. That's what that knowledge he's talking about. Listen to what it says. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. That same thing with your wisdom. That same thing with your understanding. All of that. But they don't see it. It ain't been preached and taught. Because in the places of worship, let's say even the Roman Catholic, the Pope, there's so much money behind them that rules the whole world. They ain't got time to be serving no real Yah. Do they know he exists? Sure they do. But that's how they won the world over to Satan. By that mighty wealth dollar. That's why people will sell their spirit. I ain't gonna say soul, because soul don't stand a chance in this. Someone says he doesn't care about their finances, but people use it as their God. But mammon, but why? Why trade Yah for something like that? Why? Because Yah allowed it to take place in his will. That's why he never told us Satan was our worst enemy. That's why he never told us the two gods would be Satan and Yah, or Yah and Satan. It was always that middleman was wealth. And the reason why all these wealthy pastors and bishops and priests and pope, all of them so wealthy, is because that's their God. And they never taught it as their God. And they got you to thinking their God is Jesus Christ. But their God is their mammon. That's the one they truly serve. That's why it's evil in them. Pedophile, eating blood, organs, killing people, taking their insides. They don't even feel. They don't even have feelings, y'all. And it's so many things we turn around and we'll blame all of it on Satan. We'll say it's Satan. But then Father tell us, wait a minute, Satan ain't your worst enemy. You are. Because that alone is the seed that he placed in each and every last one of us. One is the spiritual seed, like Abel, and one is the dark seed, like Cain. You see, that's why he can't afford to say that it's because of Satan, because he knew he placed it in the kingdom, not giving Satan that power nor authority. You see that? He's not willing to give Satan that power nor authority to say he has the choice to make us serpent seeds. That's why he told him in Genesis 3:15, straight up from the floor up. You're going to have yours because I'm going to give them you to you. And I'm going to have mine. And both of them going to hate one another. You see how y'all can call shots and we miss it every time because we looking over there saying, Satan did this, Satan did this, Satan did this. And a lot of it ain't Satan. If he already appointed and anointed the seeds, what role did Satan play in it? That's how deep, I know I shouldn't, but that's how deep I get into why was wealth compared to the creator. How could that be? But it is. It's a God in itself, y'all. That's why. It's a God in itself. It's the largest. It's the number one God on the face of the earth. And I know it was a time they were saying, money don't, it's the way people use it. It's not the fruit of all evil. It is the way people. Have y'all heard something like that? Tell me what it says, y'all. I forgot how they said. Money is the fruit of all evil. And they said, no, it's not, because what is it? Have y'all heard something like that before? Satan only did what Yah sent him here to do. And yes, but if you ever look, I'm gonna tell you something. If you ever look in the New Testament, you can hear where he's telling you Satan has deceived the whole world, as if he already knew he was going to be victorious in it. How did he know? You see the power of his authority that we ignore? We'll say Satan did it. But you know what? When it all said and done, it's still his will that allowed him to reach the destiny in which he assigned him. You see? But I even read it. I was like, Satan has come down to deceive the whole world. How could that be already? The world is still here. You see what I'm saying? It is already written. Oh, there's someone said it. The money is the root of all evil. Let me tell y'all something. They used to say that when I was a young person, even as a young person in the church, used to hear pastors talk about that. And I see now why they said that. It said it's the root of all evil, but then they say it's not the root of all evil. It is how people use it. Come on now, somebody help me. It's something else to it. It is how people, it's the way people use it or something like that. It's a way that they put it together. They put another one. They said money is the fruit of all evil, but they take that away by saying it's not so much as the money is evil, it's the way people take to it or the way people use it. But you know what, y'all? That's the lie from the pit of hell. That's a lie. It ain't based on how someone uses it. It's based on how it has been said to be up against the Father. It's something that's being said that's a God. And this is why people don't understand. I don't know what's wrong with this shit's blouse. That's why people don't understand, because it's like one side curls up. And that's why people don't understand why that I ain't gonna say people don't understand it, because to me, I'll be always at the altar trying to make some sense of it. And it all makes sense to me now, but for many years it didn't make no sense, because I did not like the idea that it can be looked at as a God over my Yah. It just didn't make any sense. How could that be? And I realized he didn't add Satan to it. They covet it. So in a sense, like worship, people are so greedy. It's but I don't know. Y'all just think about these billionaires. You see how they still trying to take everything from the less fortunate. And I don't even think they're trying to take it to add to theirs because they got so much they don't even live to use any of it. You know, that's just how much they have. So you wonder what is it that's with this. I don't think y'all really get what I know y'all don't get it because to me, I hate I even brought it up because I'm already getting, kind of because just to look at it from another standpoint of why would that be buckling up against the real creator, y'all? I think y'all ain't getting it because I'm still saying, how could all these gods, all these religions, all these images and graven images and statues that people worship, but somewhere somebody didn't screw people's head all the way up where they not really getting it. You got to figure out when, okay, how did it be side by side with the Yah? How could it be a God side by side with Yah? How could a world serve? Oh, because maybe it allowed them to have everything they want. But then after you get everything you want, then what? You see, it still doesn't make any sense. But one thing for sure you cannot put there, you cannot, your power and control. I can see that. I can see that being part of it, really a big part of it. But what I would be more curious about is why it wasn't Satan and Yah, and why all it leads me to understand that it was the root of all evil. And they said that it wasn't the root of all evil, but it is the root of all evil because it has power within itself to have the whole world worshiping it versus the creator who created them. And I think my problem is trying to make some sense out of how could one or the world treat mammon equal to the one who created them. And if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have the mammon to treat as a Yah. See, it gets so confusing. And in me, and I guess the Holy Spirit gonna have to give me something to kind of cool me down, because just to think of that, that he gets put to the ground and mammon get put on high. What is it about wealth and money? I know you said power and control, but just let's just use what you said. Let's just use power and control. There's only so much of that you can get, baby. It's only so much power and control you can receive. You see? Why? Because he that created all things hold all power. He that created all things hold all control. So you still ain't gonna gain what he has, I guess, in a sense, like you say in AI, all knowing. That power to be able to control everybody, and they do, because they're now in your homes, in your television, in your laptop, on your phone. So this AI is a form of all knowing. So I don't know. The answer rests in the broad gate, in the narrow gate, all along. 95, what'd you say, 0.5%? Oh my God. What'd you say? 95, he said 95 against 5%. That's deep. I guess you can't think of it like that, though. If you really need that peace, you have to be able to find it in something like that to show you, kind of give you something to have a better clearness of it. Just looking at it as the 95 would run that route. and the 5 will go in the narrow. And so you can actually say this is why it's standing near the creator himself, because it has the majority going through the broad gate, and he has the narrow going his way. But just if you ever think of that, you also find yourself realizing he made the way. He the one wrote the wheel. You see what I'm saying? I know I shouldn't take it like that, but everything that I think of, I'm always taking it back to the throne. Oh, do y'all do that? You take it back to the throne because you can't do nothing else with it. You find yourself up against the wall and you're trying to figure out, well, Father, why you let them do that? You can see he ain't concerned. Y'all know that? He ain't concerned. Why would he be concerned? And he wrote the will of the way that it's supposed to be and it's going to be. So why would he be concerned, I guess, when he know the outcome? It all goes back to what took place, the foundation of the world. That's what I'm saying. So he's at peace, which he is peace. He already know he wrote this thing out. He wrote the book. And I ain't talking about the Bible. I'm talking about the word. So he already know the outcome. You know, I'm going to show you another one. I said something earlier when Yeshua was in Gethsemane. He said, take away this bitter cup. Not my will, but thy will. He separate. See how? You know he was the Son of Man. He separate his will from the Creator's will. So he knew, as he said to Satan, it is already written. It's already written before the foundation of the world. And that's why he said, don't get too deep in it, Deborah. And remember, one of the questions was, I think earlier, it's too deep. It's too deep to see and understand. So I guess that's a part of it, huh? That was one of my word today. It's too deep to see and understand. And the Spirit was talking to me on that. And I guess this is a part of what I'm summing it up. That goes back to that. It's too deep. I learned something else, you all, and I don't know if you all knew about it. What time do we have? I learned that the Mount Zion is a holy place already. It's not a place where somebody reside. It's not a place where someone live or fought or anything. And the place of this Mount Zion is not for us to think that it's a place that we once been to. Oh, go on, talk it on in, Deborah. You see, it's almost like it was something promised to Jacob and Abraham and Isaac in the spirit realm, and not so much as the promise in the natural realm of the land, of the land. So as I was doing my little study, and it did something to me as far as kind of understanding that the promised land is not a place that we can make it a land, okay? There were two promises. And I believe that one is the promise of the land for the house of Israel and Judah. But there's another promise. And that promise is for the spiritual land, which is in Mount Zion. As you go on and you do your search, you realize that Mount Zion is not a place that nobody can pull up in or on. Nobody as of today and never have been in on Mount Zion. Why? Do anybody know why? Do anyone know why no one has been able to pull up onto Mount Zion? Anybody? Anybody happen to know why? Because it's too deep. We just have to trust in the will of the Father. That's true. That's true. That's a holy place. Exactly. So what makes us think that over there with Israel, where they're at, I think they're in the promised land. I know I shouldn't even be going this deep. I think I better do more search, because that right there to threw me all the way off. They're in the promised land, but Mount Zion is a holy place. It's no way the fake Jews could be over in the holy place. Let's just go there right quick. Psalms 138. Let me see if I can cover it. Oh, no, that's too deep there, too. Okay, I'm going to mess with you all. I got to get this one. Hey, where's my Mount Zion? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Let's ask you all this question. Let's go to Psalms 138 and verse 2. And I'm not picking at y'all. I just want to see, what do you think about this verse? I just want to see Psalms 138 verse 2. I will worship toward thy holy temple and praise thy name for thy loving kindness and for thy truth. For thou hast magnified thy word above all thy name. Magnifying thy word above all thy name. Can someone expound on that? Let's read it again. Psalms 138 and verse 2. I would worship toward the holy temple and praise thy name for thy loving kindness and for thy truth. You see him saying, for thy truth. For thou hast magnified thy word. He said, thou hast magnified thy word above thy name. How is the word above thy name? Do y'all, or am I just losing it? I could be losing it. It's about that time of that day, which we are in, that we should be losing it. Okay. Because greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. He got us on the other end. So anybody? For loving kindness and for thy truth. For thou hast magnified thy word above thy name. The word above thy name. Then comes the power, okay? Because the word speak first. Yes. Okay. But okay. I'm trying to because the word speaks first. Then come the power. He is the word. Right. But why is it above his name? Above his name. Because the word speak first, then the power. Okay, right. The word speak first, but it is above his name. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. It says, for thou hast magnified thy word above all thy name. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. His name is his power. Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying, so the word speak it and the power is brought forth. So the name is his power that comes after the word. Is that what you're saying? I know that's what you're saying. I was just trying to when I saw that, I was trying to bring that into a oneness and say that's some powerful stuff. I say nobody would come close to that. Okay, so I got you. That could be it. Because when I saw that verse, I thought that was something above all thy name. You know, I was like, wait a minute. So, okay, I see what you're saying. Now that makes sense though. But also it talks about praise thee with thy holy heart. Oh no, verse 1, toward thy holy temple. Now watch this. Now I'm going to go to Philippians chapter 2. We're going to see what are they saying about Mount Zion. I think I'm going to be able to. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 9. Wherefore, Philippians chapter 2, verse 9. Wherefore, Yah also have highly exalted him and given him a name above which is, given him a name which is above every name. Can you figure that one out? Huh? See, Genesis, he speak, then his mighty power obey and bring forth. Right. But it was talking about like his word is above his name. So that do make sense though. Because as you, this is showing you how we can get caught up in the name. And that's what people have done. You know what? That's a good point, because that is exactly what people have done. They got caught up in the name and have forsaken the power. They get caught up in the name because they have dropped the word. So they without the word and the power, but yet they hold the name. You see? So that shows you they are without him because they have not his word nor his power. See, when he said he come in us, he had identified us not by his name, but he did identify us by his word and his power. He said he will teach us all things. And what would that be? His word. And he said we shall receive what? Power. When what come upon us? The Holy Spirit. He never said the name. So the world takes on the name, but the word is above the name. Because in the beginning was the word, and the word was with him, and the word was Yah. You see? So he's letting you know that the word exists in the beginning, and the word was with him, and the word was him. It was with him in the beginning. So the word is what people are missing. And along with the word, he said, and denying the power therein. So that's why I speak heavily against people who think that they got it. I would prefer people to lay low key and tarry. For real, ask for real. Now, do he accept one that tarries in his day and time? I'm sure he would. But I think tarrying will get you that full meal deal. The power, the word, and the spirit. He ain't saying the name. So this is why, y'all, that's a whole different, oh man. This is probably why they keep saying in the name. You have to have the name. The name is this, the name is this, the name is this, it's forever the name. But it could have been the word, the power, and his spirit. You see what I'm saying? All the time they had it set up from the floor up in his name. In the name, in the name. So when you get to a verse and it says, denying the power therein, just imagine if you have the name, but you deny the power. And it's no way you could have anything of a person's name if you don't have the power, because the power usher everything in. You get what I'm saying? So this is, this is dangerous though, because everybody chasing a name. And it says they deny the power therein. So they're denying these things in which you should have first and foremost. You never heard Yeshua saying his name. He always called him Father. It never dawned on y'all, have it? That you never heard Yeshua constantly or saying anything outside of my Father. You didn't hear him using names. So whatever happened to him using names, but we are so hung over names. That's what I'm thinking it would have to be. It can't be something that the name can't be insignificant. Because if you really think about it, because remember it was said how when it come down, watch this here. And I know I shouldn't bring this up, but I'm going to do it. There are going to be those, it says those who say that I did this in thy name. I did this in thy name. I did this in thy name. And he's going to say, I never knew thee. See, because they took on the name without having the power nor the word. And that's what's happening in the world today, y'all. People are teaching and preaching, giving dreams and vision with no power, no word to back it up, no word to land it down. No power, just dreams and visions. This is why I say y'all be very careful following behind people. Got these dreams and visions that moves your flesh. No, your flesh, because that's what it's moving. People's flesh, giving them that which they desire to feel. And that, I think that wins people over. But it holds no power. It don't have no word. You remember how I say how people are teaching all this and that? Ain't nobody teaching spirit and truth. That's what spirit and truth is, the word. And the light is the Holy Spirit. So they getting by with not speaking spirit and truth, not having the light. They just giving you dreams and vision. Said the Father told them to tell you did. Where is his word? You see? So that's something to think about. And you know what? If you had to explain that to someone, it would be very hard for someone to really grip that. So many uses the name in vain. Yes. And they using it with no power behind it. See, that's what I'm trying to say to you. The power let them know that you're going off the protocol. He said, when you shall receive power, when the Holy Spirit come upon you. And what is that? The word, the spirit, and the power. Where's the name in that? You get what I'm saying? So they bypass those two things that the Holy Spirit come to bring. But they master the name. But they don't have the word. They don't have the power. They don't have the spirit. But they have the name. You see? And that's what they go by. And that's what they use. Every religion are using things based on name. They ain't using it based on the word of he, the whole all power. he that's on the throne. They don't want that. That means nothing to them. As long as we can have the name. And that's how they have won over people in all these different religions. Someone has John 1:1. That's some crazy stuff. And this is why you guys, people don't have the word. So it makes a lot of sense why people can't and not out here preaching the word. That's why it's so easy to grab the book. Because it's easy for them to manipulate people and deceive people from this level. Because the word is something that lives in you. And he teaches you his word from the inside. And if we take on a book on the outside and make it the word, then what is that in me that said that it would teach me all things? Did he want me to have the word on the outside, or do I supposed to have it on the inside? And where were the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh coming? It said it was coming to live in you, and in you mean in your spirit. Okay? The Gospel of John, chapter 1. Oh, yeah, that's the one we was in. In the beginning was the word. You see why the word is above the name? He said, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with Yah, and the word was Yah. See, now y'all, let me close out. The same was in the beginning with Yah. What was that? The word. So when do y'all see how the book cannot be the words, and all the lost books and the found books cannot be the word? The word would have to be the Father himself. It would have to be. He put the word above the name. He would have to, but you know what? In the Gospel of John, tell you that. Let you know the word was even the head of the word Yah. It's telling you that. Look at it. It says, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with Yah. Watch this here. And the word was Yah. So the word was before, it's to be seen before the name. And this is why you can't make the book the word. Y'all don't see how the whole world is deceived? That's some crazy stuff. Let me get off of here because this is getting kind of out there. Anyone want to leave the last words? Sister Deborah's going to pull out. I went past my 2 hours. I appreciate each and every last one of you all in the live. I had a whole host of questions, but I'm going to pull off right here. I heard also that they're going to start freezing people's passport. I figured they was going to do that anyway. I believe that there's a lot of things that is taking place. And even though we're not in the place where we should be, but I thank the Father for allowing us to be where he wants us to be. And we want to be closed in our right mind, stayed on him, okay? Stayed on the Most High Yah. Praise the Most High Yah. Yes, praise the Most High Yah. And you might have to come up on ministering to many people, okay? I don't think the knowledge, just hear me out, just hear me out. It has been said in the end days, knowledge shall increase. Now, if knowledge is going to increase, it says people will be going to and fro, in a sense, searching for knowledge, and knowledge shall increase. You all don't know that you are the ones that's going to be receiving those who are going to and fro, seeking knowledge, looking for knowledge. You see? And see, this is why a lot of people don't understand. That's why you're getting food for your spirit, your backpack, and the Ruach in you is want to lead you to the understanding that there's going to be a lot of people coming to you. Some going to be really just trying you. You see, they ain't going to really want to know truth. But then you're going to have those that's going to want to know truth and looking for true knowledge. And I think this is what we're going to be experiencing. Because me, myself, I was thinking about ministering to my sister now. I haven't decided to, because I'm waiting for the Most High to lead and guide me in that direction. Okay. I don't want to go over in that direction at all. And I want to only hear the voice of Yah, because he knows who's the serpent seed and who's the spiritual seed. And you know what, y'all? Being so that he is really greater in us than us ourselves, he already will give us the discerning to know who's who and what's what. Trust in Yah with all our heart and lean not to our own understanding. Good. That's beautiful. In all our ways, in all my ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct my path. That's it. That's it. But you see how little he asks? Just acknowledge him. You see? And you be trying to figure out, well, women, y'all, but you can't get caught up from the floor. But you just see how simple he wants us to just acknowledge. Don't lead to your own understanding. Just acknowledge. In all your ways, acknowledge him. That ain't asking for much. I don't know. To somebody, it might be too much. So Sister Deborah says, I appreciate each and every last one of you all in the live. And if you all have any topics that you want to cover, that we need to be covering on this Deborah platform in such a time as this, shoot it to Sister Deborah, because I believe that there's so much that can be said. And I believe that there's many that's out here that is actually searching for that knowledge. Okay. So it would be very helpful if you all could swing Sister Deborah some sort of topic that we should be covering in this day, that maybe we have not, or we should go over it again. Okay, I appreciate that. So Sister Deborah says, shalom and shalom. All righty. Have a wonderful night.